This can carry now. All right, I'm ready. A lovely afternoon to you out there. Glad to have you join us on the news on CRBC Paradise 105.5 FM Calabar. Here is the news read by Jessam Brown. The headlines. State government calls on heads of MDAs and private property owners affected by NSAS violence to come forward for inventory exercise at Ministry of Tourism. House Representatives dismisses 110 billion naira allocation to the judiciary in 2021 appropriation bill. And on the foreign scene, Joe Biden warns that more people may die if presidential administration continues to be impeded by Donald Trump. Details of these and more coming up shortly. The state government has called on heads of ministries, departments and agencies as well as private property owners who were affected by the NSAS violence to take advantage of the inventory exercise taking place at the conference room of the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Development, 5th floor, Okoyaripo House, Calabar. Speaking, the Commissioner for Tourism and Agricultural Development, Mr. Eric Anderson, said the exercise is to take stock of all the properties vandalized by hoodlums in the state. Mr. Anderson noted that the exercise will last for 1 week, adding that the state government is saddened by the situation and prayed against a repeat occurrence. In separate interviews, the Managing Director of Crosspio, Eno Obonga, the Director General, Cross River State Microfinance and Enterprise Development Agency, MIDA, Ignatius Atsu, and private business owners in Tinapa, thanked the state government for carrying out the exercise, believing that it will enable the government to provide assistance to those affected. The Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, has undertaken an on-the-spot assessment of the vandalized facilities at the Cross River Basin Development Authority in the aftermath of the NSAS protest hijacked by hoodlums. The Minister and his entourage were conducted round the vandalized offices, Basin Guest House, Generator House, and the garage, as well as more than 20 cars damaged by the hoodlums. Addressing management and staff of the authority, the minister expressed sadness at the wanton destruction of property at the area and commiserated with them, as well as prayed that such magnitude and unwholesome act does not repeat itself. He also called on the managing director of the authority to do a comprehensive report to his office for necessary action. The managing director of Cross River Basin Development Authority, Engineer Basim Kosong, said he was deeply touched by the magnitude of damage and thanked the minister for embarking on the visit, stating that property looted and damaged were worth billions of naira. The Minister of Water Resources also used the occasion to flag off the dry season cropping at the Basin Development Authority properties. Speaking, the minister reiterated the federal government's determination to revitalize the Cross River Basin Development Authority for effective output and guarantee food security. According to him, the revitalization of river basin authorities remains a priority of government at the commencement of the dry season farming is an indication that the authority is forging ahead with its mandate. Earlier, the managing director of the authority, Engineer Basim Kosong, said the authority had put up strategies and projects for achieving the objectives and vision of President Buhari in lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty through creating jobs, eradicating poverty, and food security. He maintained that the dry season cropping of assorted crops in 15 farm project allocations across the catchment areas and will encourage and engage 1,500 farming families, thereby creating jobs for over 2,500 youths, as well as provide empowerment and skill acquisition for 100 young graduates. On skill acquisition, the special advisor to the governor on special education, Mrs. Margaret Kajang, has commended the state governor, Sabena Ayade, for including people with disabilities in his vision to put food on the table of all Cross Riverians. Mrs. Kajang gave the commendation while carrying out assessment of training of disabled persons in Calabar. The special advisor says one of the measures to ensure that people with disabilities are taken care of and off the street and also become independent is to provide free skill acquisition training for them at the Ministry of Women Affairs. She hinted that a 3-month free training program in various skills such as hairdressing, shoemaking, bead making, baking, amongst others, will help provide for them a sense of independence. The State Secretary, Nigerian Association for the Blind, Mr. Etimokun, congratulated the special advisor for bringing to focus one of the visions of Governor Ben Ayade and its attendant benefit. He solicited government assistance to get the trainees established beyond the training program. Some of the beneficiaries also thanked the governor for translating their dreams into reality. The Cross River State Newspaper Corporation, publishers of the Nigerian Chronicle, has received 2 new computers to facilitate its return to production. The computers are already formatted to Chronicle standards were donated by publisher Mr. James Abri. Receiving the computers, the general manager of the corporation, Mr. Ima Akbon, said he was deeply touched by the gesture and promised to use them judiciously. Akbon also assured the public that with this donation, the Nigerian Chronicle will soon be back on the newspaper stand. Making the donation, James Abri recalled that the State Newspaper Corporation has touched the lives of his family members positively, noting that 2 of his family members worked as editors of the Nigerian Chronicle. He also recalled that some of the big names in the journalism profession began their career with the corporation, hence the need to keep it alive. The editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Chronicle, Mr. Sam Egbala, also thanked James Abri for the gesture and promised maximum protection of the equipment for the publication of the newspaper. Meanwhile, the state chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria will soon have a data bank that will include all youth groups and their members in the state. Already, the State Council is working to ensure a functional executive in all the local government councils and wards in the state. State Chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Comrade Daniel Obo, disclosed this while speaking on our CRBC News and Current Affairs television program platform. Comrade Obo, who was on the program with the SA on Youth, condemned in very strong terms the recent destruction and looting of public and private property by hoodlums who hijacked the NSAS peaceful protests. For details of these and other issues, tune into the program platform today, Tuesday, November 17, 2020, at 6:30 in the evening. You're still on the news this afternoon on Paradise 105.5 FM. In the headlines, or rather, the challenges of daily existence are enormous. Let us therefore endure and tolerate one another to make a harmonious daily existence. Coming up next is national, foreign, entertainment, and sports news. The House of Representatives dismissed the 110 billion allocation to the judiciary in the 2021 appropriation bill, and especially faulted the federal government for failing to increase the fund despite appointing 8 more justices of the Supreme Court. This is just as the House criticized the revenue being generated by judicial bodies, which the lawmakers said should be rendering social services. The House Committee on Judiciary had organized a budget defense session for the National Judicial Council and other bodies. Those who appeared before the lawmakers include the Supreme Court, Federal Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, National Industrial Court of Nigeria, and the National Judicial Institute. The Council Secretary, NJC, Ahmed Saleh, in his presentation, demanded more allocation to the judiciary. Saleh disclosed that the courts across all cadres are getting more judges, putting more pressure on the judiciary's already lean purse. Saleh also told the committee that NJC's initial proposal for the entire judiciary was 187,945,531,466 naira. But a lot of adjustment had to be made as 110 billion was given to this arm of government. In his presentation, Deputy Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court, Ruben Jego, warned that activities at the Apex Court might suffer with the reduction of its allocation, despite having 8 more justices. On the foreign scene, Joe Biden has warned people may die if his incoming presidential administration continues to be impeded by Donald Trump. Speaking in Delaware, the president-elect said coordination was needed to tackle the coronavirus outbreak. He called President Trump's refusal to acknowledge he lost the vote, despite calls to do so from both sides, totally irresponsible. This is not a game, he says. Former First Lady Michelle Obama wrote on social media, President-elect Biden has 306 votes to the Electoral College, surpassing the 270 threshold needed to win. Yet Trump, a Republican, tweeted on Monday, "I won the election." The Trump campaign launched a flurry of legal challenges in the wake of the November 3 votes to contest ballot counts. Hurricane Iota has made landfall in Nicaragua 2 weeks after another devastating storm hit. The U.S. National Hurricane Center (NHC) said the storm crossed the coast on Monday evening. It has strengthened at sea to a Category 5 storm before making landfall with maximum sustained winds of up to 160 miles per hour, that's 260 kilometers per hour, as it struck Nicaragua. It weakened to a Category 4, but the NHC says it remains extremely dangerous. The agency warned of catastrophic winds, a life-threatening storm surge, and torrential rainfall in its latest update. In Ethiopia, Ethiopia's minister in charge of democratization, Zadig Abrahas, has said the ongoing fighting between federal troops and those loyal to the Tigray regional government is not a civil war. The minister also told BBC's Focus on Africa that the conflict will not escalate into the region. This is after regional heads of state Yoweri Museveni of Uganda and Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta called for talks and cessation of hostilities. The people of Tigray are not fighting against us. They are under the subjugation of the military dictatorship of the TPLF. That is why I'm not calling it a civil war. It is a pity that people are displaced and forced to go to Sudan, but it is a TPLF deliberate tactic to uphold an international attention towards these conflicts, he said. And now on to entertainment. Hollywood or Nollywood actor Yul Edochie has recounted a ghastly motor accident he had in 2019 that almost claimed his life. He recalled that in 2019 he suffered a ghastly accident while on a trip to the eastern part of the country. According to the actor, he died in the accident. However, God brought him back to life. He said he has now dedicated his new life to helping people, making the world a better place, and spreading the word of God. And now sports. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare says the ministry and the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) will discuss the suitability of Gernot Rohr as the Super Eagles coach after the 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sierra Leone in Freetown on Tuesday. The Eagles squandered a 4-goal lead against the Leon Stars in the first leg of the doubleheader in Benin City on Friday. A result that shocked football-crazy Nigerians who insisted that the Franco-German be sacked as the national team coach. Report says Nigerians have expressed a collective disappointment with the collapse of the team, especially in the second half, giving a 4-0 lead to a team that is ranked 887 times below the biggest football brand, the Super Eagles. The report says only a convincing win in Freetown can assuage our feelings and bruised egos, adding that the task at the moment is to get the team firmly back on track towards picking one of the group's 2 tickets and offer for the 2022 AFCON. It says Rohr has continuously excluded home-based stars since he was handed the Eagles job in 2016. But the minister says the domestic league has a big role to play in building a strong national team for the country. Still on the Super Eagles of Nigeria will today in Sierra Leone take on the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone in a match day 4 of 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifying match. The game is due to kick off from 5 p.m. It will be recalled that Leon Stars of Sierra Leone last week at the Samuel Ogbumedia Stadium, Benin City, forced the Super Eagles to a 4-4 draw in match day 3 of the AFCON qualifying match. CRBC TV will transmit the match live from 5 p.m. All right. And to end the news, the state government has called on heads of ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as private property owners who were affected by the NSAS violence, to take advantage of the inventory exercise taking place at the conference room of the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Development, 5th floor, Okoyaripo House, Calabar. Speaking, the Commissioner for Tourism and Cultural Development, Eric Anderson, said the exercise is to take stock of all the properties vandalized by hoodlums in the state. The House of Representatives dismissed the 110 billion allocation to the judiciary in the 2021 appropriation bill and especially faulted the federal government for failing to increase the fund, despite appointing 8 more justices of the Supreme Court. This is just as the House criticized the revenue being generated by judicial bodies, which the lawmakers said should be rendering social services. And on the foreign scene, Joe Biden has warned people may die if his incoming presidential administration continues to be impeded by Donald Trump. Speaking in Delaware, the president-elect said coordination was needed to tackle the coronavirus outbreak. And on COVID-19 update, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 157 new infections of the coronavirus in the country. The center made this known via its verified website on Monday. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that there was an increase of 5 cases from the 152 reported on November 15. Report says the nation had tested 705,809 people since the first confirmed COVID-19 case was announced on February 27. The NCDC said that the new cases were from 9 states, pointing out that there was no coronavirus-related death in the past 24 hours. It said that out of the 157 new cases, 97 were recorded in Lagos State, 37 in Oyo, 9 in Kaduna, and 3 each in Bayelsa, Edo, and Ekiti. 2 each were also recorded in Ondo, Osun, and 1 in Plateau State. That's the size of our package this afternoon on Paradise 105.5 FM Calabar. Remember, the challenges of daily existence are enormous. Let us therefore endure and tolerate one another to make a harmonious daily existence. On behalf of the news editor, Isenita, and the production team, I am Jessam Brown, handing you back to MC Daddy Boy and Plethora on How Na Day Show on Paradise 105.5 FM. Stay tuned. Over. You're a motherfucker.
Our state news with pride.
You're a motherfucker.
Even come out somebody.
I know you do.
Now you've been doing the time.